The first blow, arrogance in the void. The galaxy remembered the day the Kavathi Empire turned its gaze upon the human frontier. It began with fire. A human colony on the edge of Orion's arm, peaceful and still in its infancy, was erased in less than an hour. The Kavathi cruisers descended not with warning but with laughter echoing across intercepted channels. To them, this was nothing more than sport. Their commanders boasted of the fragility of Earth's people. Screens broadcast images of fleeing civilians, their orbital platforms shattered like glass. The Kavathi soldiers carved their symbols into the ruins of human homes, mocking the very idea of resistance. When Earth demanded an explanation, the Kavathi overlords delivered a message burned into the stars. Humanity is prey. Prey does not negotiate. The galaxy watched. Most shrugged. Who would defend a young species that had only recently stepped beyond its cradle? Surely the humans would retreat into silence, licking their wounds. Surely they would learn humility in the shadow of older, stronger civilizations. The galaxy was wrong. The feast of mockery. The Kavathi did not stop at one colony. They turned the destruction into spectacle. Their fleets hunted down convoys, snaring refugee ships like predators playing with cornered animals. Broadcasts of dying humans were spread across neutral channels, a carnival of cruelty for all to see. In taverns and markets of alien worlds, wagers were placed. How long before Earth surrendered? How many systems would they abandon before kneeling? The laughter was endless. Humanity was mocked as too civilized, too slow to anger. The Kavathi jeered that Earth's patience was cowardice, that their silence was proof of weakness. And indeed, for months, Earth remained silent. But silence is not always weakness. Sometimes it is the intake of breath before the scream. Sometimes it is the tightening of the bowstring before release. The gathering storm. When the silence broke, it did not break softly. On every human frequency, across every military band, a single transmission pulsed like a heartbeat. Operation Ashen Sky authorized. The Kavathi laughed when they first intercepted it. They thought it was another bluff, until their scouts reported what was rising from Earth's shipyards. Dreadnoughts black as the void, cruisers scarred with runes of vengeance, swarms of frigates built not for defense but for slaughter. Entire asteroid belts had been mined, hollowed, and reforged into weapons. The humans called the fleet the Ashen Sky Armada. It blotted out the stars as it moved. And at its core, a single ship, larger, heavier, and deadlier than anything the galaxy had seen. Its hull bore no name. Its crew volunteered knowing they would not return. A suicide mission, whispered the galaxy. A final act of desperation. They were wrong. The march to annihilation. The Kavathi prepared to mock once more, boasting their fleets would tear the human armada apart. But when the first battles began, the laughter died. Human fleets did not advance like soldiers. They descended like storms. Formations unfolded with terrifying precision. Entire squadrons hurled themselves into Kavathi lines, detonating warheads not to survive, but to clear paths for the dreadnoughts behind them. Every ship, every crew, fought as though their deaths were already written, and perhaps they were. Humanity had accepted the cost before the first shot was fired. The Kavathi called it madness. The galaxy called it suicide. Humanity called it vengeance. The fire of the suicide fleet. At the center of it all, the nameless dreadnought plunged deeper into Kavathi space. Its mission was not conquest, not negotiation. It carried within its hull the most devastating payloads Earth had ever forged, cores of annihilation, capable of reducing entire star systems to lifeless ash. Cavathi fleets surrounded it, desperate to halt its advance. Dozens of human escorts shattered, burned, sacrificed themselves to keep the path clear. Still the dreadnought pressed on, engines screaming, hull tearing under relentless fire. And then it reached its target, Vorak Prime, the Cavathi capital. The dreadnought's commander, his name lost to time, spoke a single line across every frequency. "This is for every colony, for every child, for every name you never learned." Then the dreadnought burned itself alive. The detonation consumed the Cavathi homeworld, its orbital fleets, its palaces, its temples. The shockwave shattered moons. The skis turned to fire. Vorak Prime was erased from the stars. Retribution without mercy. The suicide mission should have ended there, but it did not. The Ashen Sky Armada did not retreat. It did not wait for surrender. It pressed deeper, system by system, planet by planet. Humanity's fleets did not occupy, they obliterated. No ground was held, no colonies spared. The Cavathi screamed for mercy, but none came. The galaxy watched in horror as the once mighty empire was reduced to ruins in weeks. Entire suns burned beneath the weight of human wrath. Fleets moved like blades through flesh, cold and surgical. Cavathi cities fell silent. Their archives, once filled with boasts, filled instead with desperate pleas. But Earth did not listen. The silence that followed. When the fires dimmed, nothing remained of the Cavathi but whispers. Where once there had been an empire stretching across dozens of systems, there was only ash. Their name became a curse, their ruins a warning. The galaxy did not cheer. There was no victory song, no celebration. There was only silence, the kind of silence that follows a predator through the woods when all smaller creatures know to remain still or be noticed. On alien worlds, children were warned with hushed voices, "Do not provoke Earth, do not awaken its wrath." Ambassadors who once mocked humanity now bowed. Enemies who once dismissed Earth now gave them wide berth. And allies, those few who remained, spoke of humanity with reverence and dread. The birth of a legend. In the end, the suicide mission had done more than destroy a world. It carved humanity's name into the fabric of galactic memory, not as prey, not as weaklings, but as the species that, when pushed too far, would burn itself to ash if only to take its enemies with it. The galaxy learned patience was not weakness, that silence was not surrender, that when humanity spoke with vengeance, it spoke with fire that could consume empires. The dreadnought's sacrifice became legend. Its nameless commander became myth. And Earth, scarred, grieving, but unbroken, stood as a shadow over every throne in the stars. From that day onward, a single phrase whispered across the void: "Never provoke Earth again." For the galaxy had seen what a suicide mission meant to humanity. And it was enough to make them a legend.